Welcome everyone. I'm Emmy and you're on the Zen with Emmy channel. I'm really glad you're here. I have a really fun, interesting thing to do today and I'm really quite, I don't know, not sad, but I'm reflective today because it's Memorial Weekend here. And it's a good thing to keep a memory in our memory banks of those who've served throughout our history and throughout time to keep us free and to be enjoying the things that we do. I'm so glad that we're able to be together and remember these things this weekend. And I'm sure everyone all over the world remembers in their own way, in their own time. So I have grabbed several cool supplies. And you can grab any pen you happen to have handy, of course, any pencil, any blender stump or Q-tip. I will need my eraser today, and I will need some scrap paper. And I also, while we're talking, I have laid out this paper already. This is the one I'm going to work on. And I have made out a simple frame of doubled lines in pencil. And that's all I'm going to do with that right now. I'm going to put the scrap paper back in front of me, and I'm going to show you a couple of marvelous examples. Here's one, and I'm going to do ours just in black and white too. I think this is gorgeous, and it means so much more to me, not in color. But that said, there are so many ways to do such things. So I've got two versions of color. Here's one that I've used oranges and reds, a little bit of greens. And I'm also going to show you how to write in faux calligraphy, which is just fun and very easy to do if you're interested. This one is done with chalk pencils. The other was Prisma pencils, by the way. And all I did here was just shades of pink and greens that I was able to smudge in quite nicely. So let's get started with scrap because I want to show you a good way to do each of these poppies. These are not Zentangle patterns, so this is definitely what you and I would call a ZIA, Zentangle-inspired art. So let's practice. One of the ones I want to do has quite, or suggest to you, and your version will be different, and that's what makes Zentangle beautiful. Make an oval, and then make a second oval that's maybe off-centered from the first, surrounding the first one, much like a donut, I'd say. So we're practicing in pencil, which means we're not going to take a ton of time with it. I'm going to start here. I'm going to make a straight line that connects the top and the bottom, and I'm going to make a wavy line in pencil that goes and comes back in. You can see the petal. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to hang this right off this one here, this petal, and I'm going to make another wavy line and reconnect. Let's do that again. Start it off the top and wavy line and connect as you choose. Let's do it again. I'm going over here now, and I'm using my pencil line if it works. Pencil lines are always made to be changed and erased, which is why we have our eraser handy. So that's basically it, and we will do more embellishment with this sweet poppy pattern when we get time in a few minutes. Let me show you another version. So I'm going to make a longish L, and then I'm going to come around like a shepherd's hook, come down and more or less to a point, a soft point. The next one I'm going to do is going to go up a little bit from here. That wavy line is very poppy, and this poppy is not full open. I'm going to start one over here, wavy line, reconnect, and then I want this to go around the back. So what I'm going to do is come along here like this, down. And I'm sure there are many versions of this that you could do. So please know that this is just one version of many. All right, let's do another one. Then we'll have this pretty much. I want to do one that is a really long centerpiece of an oval. I'm going to make sure that my work is in front of me, so I'm going to have to turn this. And then I'm going to I want the top to be tighter than the bottom, or vice versa. Okay, So I have made a circle, and I have that nice little circle within it that's going to be my centerpiece. This is actually, as you can see, depending on where we look, I'm going to make a wavy line down and connect with the outside one. Wavy line around and back in. All of the rest are going to take off from the top. Wave, back in. They take off from the top and back in. The idea is the wave. It can be quite a coffee. I've had too much coffee and reconnect or not. But this is the way that we're going to be able to show this poppy on an angle. And then this poppy is here with only part of it showing. So there's a few others too, and yours might turn out quite a lot differently than mine, and that's good, because why would our work look alike? I know that you and I do not look alike, and our work doesn't either. Even my sister and I would do these things differently. So this is our practice, and then we'll also be practicing a little more, a couple of other things as we get rolling here. So I have created this pencil line. Pause me if you didn't have a chance yet, and then we'll get started with some layout. The first thing I'm going to do is that center poppy line, circle, orb, and then I want to make one around it. I'm going to go right over that pencil. I'm going to make this go round, and you can see that it's pretty wonky, and I really like that. I like it to be wonky. I like it to have some size. I have, believe it or not, lots of room here. The next one is going to come down here a little bit. I'm going to make that angle line down, and then the rest of the V going up. This one, then I really started this a little different than I showed you, and I'm sorry about that. But here it's going to end up the same. Extend that. Now I'm going to go behind. So I'm going to, from here, I'm going to make a line that is connecting, and then another one here. I think it turned out beautifully. It's a beautiful poppy that's not yet opened. Like you see when you get those poppies on the corner that the American Legion raises money and puts out now and then. And now I want to do another one over here. So I'm going to make a pretty longish oval. I get my work in front of me. It's important to me that I have one side wider than the other, further from it, if you get my drift. Okay, so it's time for me to do a fourth one. Smaller, because I don't have so much room here, I think. Very nice. Now let's go back to the first one and finish those petals. So I'm going to come out here from the middle of the oval, the middle of our poppy, and bring it around and back in. That's my first base. Now the next one goes off of the first one. Pretty wavy and wonky. Remember, your pencil line is made to be changed if you need to and you don't like the way it looked. But if you do, that's great too. We are going to be going over this, overdrawing, so it will be changing quite a lot. So I really think that this one is going to be facing this way for me. So I'm going to start here, wavy line and back in. Next one, this is the same procedure we just did. They're very, very fun. These will end up to be a lot wavier, but I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, let's do this last one together. like to keep my work in front of me. It's just easier for my hand. Oh, so pretty. Okay, let's go to the next step. We've got our layout done. And I am going to put my words, freedom isn't free, down here, so I don't have to do anything about that right now. So grab your pen, and all we're going to do is use our 01, not a heavy-duty pen, to outline these fun things. So I'm going to outline, and I'm going to do a little more wave this time on this one. Wave this too. This is the outside of the petal, so it definitely will have a wave on it. And then here, outline what you already did, overdraw. I'm glad we're back. Okay, so it's time for us to get all those whiskers that help this thing look so much fun. So we do need to do a ton of, we're gonna do our dots in the middle, and then we're gonna do our whiskers all the way around. So I'm gonna do my dots in the heaviest pen I happen to have handy, and today that's a 08 for me. I would have used a 1 if I'd have had it. So anything that you want that will allow you to have these be quite dark. If you're careful and go over that pen mark for the middle, you will be able to hide that real well. Go ahead and put lots and lots of dots. Random, right? Okay. Alrighty, back to my 01. Time to get all those whiskers on. So the whiskers are like this in the middle, just flicks. Some are gonna be quite big, tall. Some are gonna be quite thin and small. But they're all just going to try to follow the direction that you think the petal would logically go. Lots of ways to add more should you choose. Okay, so let's get, this is a huge one here. Big petal. They're just whisker flicks. And they're our first bit, they're going to indicate the fold and the shade for us. But we will do more shade. Tee-hee. And over here. Very, very nice. We will add a few fold lines here too. Now I'm going to add fold lines to the outside, all of this area here. And that is a little different. These are a little wider. So let me show you on the large one. So wherever I have, and I'm going to add a few more, I think, wherever I have those wavy lines, I'm going to try to point my pen here and then flick in. So it's like substantial. I'm going to have to add a couple more to some of these huge ones. So a little dot and then a flick. Dot, flick. Dot, flick. Okay, now we have to do something with this. So this, I'm assuming that this petal is on top of these. So I'm going to put a row of hatching down the side and up the side of each of the sides of petals. I'm going to just assume that this is under the other one. I also am going to have to add some whiskers here at the bottom, which is going to look very similar to what we already just finished. It's a little hard to control the pen when you're doing this. Very nice though. Okay, I love it. I hope you do too. So it's time to do a couple of things. One of them is put the fun stems on. Excuse me, just lost it. I was looking outside my window and it looks like there's a storm about to start here. So I'm gonna connect, doesn't matter from the top or the bottom. Doesn't matter if it's wavy or not either. This one does not have quite as much room. And I don't want these poppies to be crowded. You see I'm adding a few flick lines down this stem, these stems as well, just to give them a little dimension. And then before I can get the words on, I would like to close this in all the way around, and then I can get my erasing going too. So I can use a different size if I want, but I think I want to do these long ones first, because the other ones go underneath, that go behind method that we do in Zentangle so often. So I have to lift my pen and come out the other side. There are places like this to stop. It's a big help. I think it looks more natural if you don't try to use a ruler, but you should do what's comfortable to you, okay? No one is ever going to say, hey, you don't, or whatever. Please know that. But if you have a place to lift your pen like that, it makes it so much easier. There we go. And let's finish across the top and hem this pretty little pattern in, these beautiful poppies. It's a sweet way to remember. Alrighty, before I get my words down here, I'm going to get my eraser going. I just use a gum eraser, and I really don't have too much to do. And I need to get my shading on here because it will look wonderful and make everything pop. I would shade later, but then I wouldn't. I need to do this erasing ahead of time, even though I could use some of that. Anyway, that's just the way I see it, and everybody sees things different, as they should. Okay, shading, and then words. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to shade on the outside of the petals. I'm laying as thick a band as I can as my pencil offers. And the more I work on the side of my pencil, the more shade graphite I'm going to be able to get out of here. It's another thing, another very important thing to keep your work in front of you so that your hand is the most comfortable. And you see what I'm doing here. So after this, I will set us up with some pleasant music. Darken this too. And let's go ahead and get the graphite on here, and then we'll shade together. We'll add our blender stump work. Let's get a little more, whoops, excuse me, allergies, terrible tickle. Okay, so I want to shade on either side of this poppy here and up the side because, again, I want it to have the illusion of being rounded. Shade here in this area. And then as soon as we finish blending it in, we'll go ahead and write the words down. So let's get started. Push it out. Try to leave a little white in the middle here. It doesn't have to be much, just a little. You can always add more graphite if you feel you didn't quite get enough too. And then we'll have to stop and look periodically and see what we get going on here. Get this last one together. That's sweet. Okay, I feel like this needs something here. Looks strange to me. There, that's much better. Keep it a little lighter, I think. That'll help it. Sweet, sweet, sweet. That is kind of a weird stem, but I'm going to go with it. Okay, I'm going to use my 01 for Freedom Isn't Free. I'm going to do faux calligraphy, which is you double every stroke on the downstroke, like that. That's going to be my F. Side stroke, leave it alone. So the R, stick down, so that means it's doubled. Stick rounded, so I'm going to double where it goes down. E's are fun. Start tight where it's flat, and then end tight. And then stick to line it up. Same thing. So I think you get the idea. And we're going to have to start pretty close over here to get the whole thing on here. So this is what it was again. Freedom isn't free. See if we'll have to look and see what we got here. There may be a little more that we want to do up there. Okay. Stick and a stick. Freedom isn't free. How profound. And I like the fact that it isn't perfect. Okay, what do I have to do here to make this look a little better? I think it looks pretty good. I might, before I put my initials on it, I might darken a few of these lines here between the petal lines, because the graphite tends to make them get a little bit dull. And I guess I'd like them to pop more. See what you think. They don't all need that. Just a couple over here. The shaky part is good. I have a black pencil that I really feel like I need here, because I think that these are too white. There's too much white showing here, and I don't like that. So I'll darken that up. That helps quite a lot. Any black that you would happen to have will work just fine, but that needed then, and this is good. All right, time for my initials. Gee whiz, I hope you liked this. I'm going to use my 005. I'm going to put my initials on here in some not too obvious place, but still recognizing that it's mine and my design, and I hope you enjoyed this. I appreciate that you were here today so much for Memorial Day to celebrate with me, and I hope to see you again soon. I have so many more fun patterns to share with you. And that said, please share this with a friend. I'll see you again next time. Bye.